Hello.
Just three.
Hello. Am I speaking? Hello. Hi, Chilo, can you hear me? Hello. Chilo, you're muted. FYI. Can you hear me?
Hi, good morning.
Sorry, did you say something, Chilo?
Oh no, I just said good morning. That's all.
Oh, good morning. I just wanted to be sure my audio was fine. Thanks.
Okay.
Welcome. Thanks for logging on.
Yeah.
Early bird get scholarship to Harvard.
Sorry?
I said early bird get a scholarship to Harvard.
Oh really? That's nice.
Yeah. I will just.
I'm looking forward to it.
You will hear from us soon.
All
Okay,
right.
I saw it being for another 5 minutes or so. At the time.
All right, no problem.
Thanks for logging on. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Online, please, can you confirm you can hear me?
You can hear you.
Great, fantastic. So you're welcome to this ALP and Energy4Me trainer session. It's going to be in twofold. The first part will be just a refresher on the ALP. What is the ALP? Why do we conduct these ALPs? And what will be the best way, the standard way, or like guidelines as to how to hold these faster lecture programs. And then the second part of this session would be some Energy4Me experiments. We have several Energy4Me experiments, about 12 or so, but this time we're going to be going through 3 of them. So you're welcome once again. My name is Scary. I am the Young Professionals Chair for SPE Lagos section. And before we begin, I would just quickly like to go through a safety brief. So last week or 2 weeks ago, Lagos State officially declared the 4th wave of the COVID-19 pandemic over. But I think it's worth to note that we should still remain very vigilant. There's several variants out there now, primarily the Omicron variant. By now we all know the usual safety COVID-19 safety protocols, not being in large gatherings, wearing face masks, washing your hands, and so many more. So let's continue to observe these protocols in as much as we try to return to normalcy in our lives. So that being said, at this point, I would like to hand over to our first facilitator. I will allow him to introduce himself and take us through the first part of this session. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Chief Scary, for the introduction. Just as my name is Onobrakoya Ovie, and I'm a young professional member of the Society of Petroleum Engineers Lagos section. And I'm here to introduce to you briefly on the purpose and the content of our Ambassador Lecturer Program. I want to believe that you can all hear me. Can you all hear me, please?
I can hear you clearly.
All right, thank you. Now, the Ambassador Lecturer Program is geared towards disseminating information about the energy industry and answering questions, and also getting to share your own experience about the working in the energy industry, and most importantly, getting to know more about your own self, because in turn you are building confidence for yourself as well. And young professional members of the Society of Petroleum Engineers here in Lagos section and across the world today, what we do is that we go to secondary schools, we go to universities to deliver the Ambassador Lecturer Program. And in turn, you get the student excited. You get them excited about being part of the energy industry. Okay, get them excited. And also, you also provide a glimpse of a career opportunity and a cutting edge technologies as well. So it gives you an opportunity to reach out, connect with people, and quite a lot you tend to gain by being part of the Ambassador Lecturer Program. So briefly, as at last week, 2 persons asked me, the first question, a guy asked and said, how do we conduct these ALPs? It's very, very easy. The first is, it can easily be initiated. First is the secondary school or the university can send an invite to the Society of Petroleum and engineers, like the young professionals, to come to their school to conduct this Ambassador Lecturer Program. And also the section can as well reach out to the school. And outside of the section reaching out to the school, the young professional member of SPE can reach out to the school on behalf of the section. as well. And reaching out to the school on behalf of the section gives you an opportunity to get to connect with these schools in person. And by so doing, they give you a date and a time to come for this ambassador lecturer program. Now, there are two things I would like to point out. First is that the ambassador lecturer program, some persons, the second person, like I said before I say this, said to me, and he said that how do we go about, like I said initially in the second point, on how we initiate this this ambassador lecturer visit. I did say that you go to the school, tell them about the ALP. You tell them about the ALP. Okay, let me give an instance about myself. Okay, let me share a bit of my experience. Imagine I'm going to school to represent my section, the legal section. Okay, I'm introducing this ambassador lecturer program to the school. And I go to the school like, good morning, Ma. My name is Onoba Konya Obi, a young professional member of the Society of Petroleum Engineers. And I'm here to introduce to you an ambassador lecturer program where we educate students about the energy industry. We tend to share our experience and conduct experiment as well. All materials needed for the experiment we provided, experiment and lecture we provided by the Society of Petroleum Engineers. All we need you to do, Ma or Sir, depending on the management of the school, is to give us a day and time to come. Amazingly, these schools are like, are you serious? Is it free? That's the first question most of these schools tend to ask me. Is it free? And what I say is like, yes, it's free. It's free. One thing about Nigeria, not like Nigeria per se, it's cut across the other parts of the world. Like when you tell them that when anything that is free, they want to ship into it immediately. Do you understand? So they want to ship into it, and that is one thing that I think is the most advantageous part of this whole ambassador lecturer program. So immediately, they quickly give me a date and say, okay, since it's free, we are not paying anything, because ambassador indeed is indeed free. So you are going, like it's a voluntary work, you're going to the school, and there's scheduled time given to you by the school, and in turn, you've won that school already in terms of the ambassador lecturer program. All you need to do is to go to the school, deliver the ambassador lecturer program, do the necessary, probably conduct the necessary experiments as you would want to, and you're done with that already. Okay, so the ambassador lecturer program is not hard at all. It's very, very, very easy to conduct, and you can easily reach out to schools. And the other point I would like to mention is that the ambassador lecturer program also gives you this opportunity to build your confidence. Yes, to build your confidence, because when you are now, remember, the school has invited you already, okay? And before I say this, some schools also do not, they will tell you, they'll ask your proposals. So when you get the proposals ready and give to the school, do not forget to get the phone number of the principal of the school. It is very, very important. Now, why am I centered on you getting the phone number of the principal of the school? The reason being that you have to follow up on the proposal you submitted. Okay, because sometimes they might be too busy that they might not have time to look into the proposal you submitted to a visit, okay, to conduct an ambassador lecturer program. But you collecting their phone numbers, reaching out to them, probably you submitted on Monday, reaching out to them on Wednesday to follow up on it later. We have them tuned into your the old ambassador lecturer program, the proposal you submitted, and in turn, they'll give you a date to visit for the ALP. Okay, so now the next point I would love to talk about is that first, the ambassador lecturer program. The ambassador lecturer program, we have what we call a standard template, okay, that will guide you. That will guide you in the whole process. Okay, so I'm going to be sharing my screen. Okay, I think it's shared already. I guess you can see it now. Okay. Okay, I guess you can see it now. You can see my screen.
Yes, I can see it.
Okay, thank you. So the first thing it's, okay, just give me a sec. Okay, so remember, this is a guide. It's a guide on how you go about the presentation. Okay, so it's not like you are going with this particular one. The first thing you do is you fix in your name, the company, okay, you'll be fixing your name, the company, and your position. Okay, the company you're working for currently, okay, and your position. Okay, it's a very, very vital part of it. And note, please, before I continue in this, don't forget that the SPE provides the proposal letter to the schools. So all you need to do is, if you have a school around you, you can just take notes, take the name of the school, the address of the school, the phone number, the phone number of the school, the email, like the email address, and the location of the school as well. Okay, so all you need to do is to send it to student affairs chairperson in the person of Mr. Yusuf. So she'll forward it to the SP admin, and it will do the needful by having the proposals ready for you, and it will be sent across to you. So it's as easy as easy itself. So it's not hard at all. So I will go further with the slides. Like I said, your name, company, and position is very, very vital. And the next I have, who am I? Okay, you want to tell the students. Okay, let's say you've been invited for an ambassador lecturer program in the school, let's say in the university, in a secondary school, universities, okay, as the case may be. So you want to tell them who you are, okay, starting with your background, okay, your background, where you are from, the university you attended, your past and current jobs. Okay, for example, you're currently in Seplat. For example, you want to tell them this was where I was before I left Seplat to Chevron. From Chevron, I went to. So it will get them inspired. Okay, your story with your personality will get them inspired. Okay, and you tell them more personal details that can interest you. Okay, that will be interesting to the audience. Okay, it's very, very important. So all these are getting them excited about being part of the energy industry. Okay, now I move to the next slide, which is why am I here? Okay, now you talk about my career in the energy industry. It's what it is working in the oil and gas industry. And you talk about the challenges and future projections, like this, not just talk about the challenges, but also talk about the solution as well. Okay, what you think is a solution, and one area that you have pointed out and you are saying that this is really a key solution to the present challenges of the sector. The energy industry, same as the sector as well. So you tell them the meaning of SPE. Okay, most persons don't really know the meaning of SPE. You tell them what SPE is all about. You tell them give a career advice. Okay, give a career advice, because some of them as well might not really know what they want to be in life. They don't really know. I, for one, for example, when I was when I was 12 years old, my dad would come to me and tell me, okay, I want you to be a medical doctor. Okay, so you going to the school to present, to deliver an ambassador lecturer program, you are in turn fine-tuning their mind, like getting their mind set to what they want to be in life. Okay, and you get this, in fact, you see some of them excited about what you just said, about your story, about your presentation, and they tell themselves, I want to be a petroleum engineer, I want to be an electrical engineer, I want to be a scientist, all promoting the STEM. The STEM voice. Okay, so the last is just tell them anything else that you would like to know, that you would like to know more, or probably that you are curious about. Okay, it's very, very important. So I'll ride on this slide as fast because of time. Now, don't forget, the next is what do I do? What do I do? your job title, for example, now, okay, let's say you are a feed engineer. You're a feed engineer. Okay, I'm a feed engineer at probably Chevron, and this is what I do. This is what it's all about. Okay, and a life in a day, you're just describing a typical day in your job, giving them an experience. Like there was a day I was at Abuja on a feed trip. I probably on a field work, and this was what happened, and this was how it came about. This was how the challenges was. This was how we set. You understand? So all this is boosting their mind about the energy industry, and in no time you find out that they want to ask you questions about the energy industry, and when you find them asking you questions about the energy industry, they are picking interest already. So in most of the ambassador lecturer program I conduct, I have lots and lots of students asking questions. They are so inquisitive, honestly speaking. They are so inquisitive that they ask questions back to back. And I get so excited when they ask questions. This is one fulfilling thing I get from every of the ALP I conduct. When students ask questions, it's so exciting. That means that my message is being passed. Okay, so I get so excited about that. So now you talk about what choices you would like, probably you want to make throughout your education and career to get to where you are today. Okay, what choices you made. Okay, tell them about the choices you made, the mistakes, or don't just tell them about the good side, tell them the mistakes you made, because you wouldn't want them to make such mistakes. Okay, so it's very, very important. These are the key things the ambassador lecturer program tends to inculcate into the minds of these students. So I'm moving to the next slide, and it's why do I do it? Why do I do it? Okay, this is a very important part of it. Like first, you talk about what interests you about the area. So don't pardon the statement there. Okay, what interests you about the industry? Okay, so what is there is interest. What interests you about this industry? Okay, you tell them the brilliant things you have experienced quite a lot. Okay, probably you might not find yourself in the oil and gas industry. You probably might not be working in an oil and gas firm, but you can tell them about the formation of oil and gas, the formation of petroleum. Tell them about the formation of petroleum. You tell them how we get the place where we, for example, now I tell most of the students I visit, the schools I visit us for, I tell the student, I say, do you know that the place, how we get the crude oil? Most of them don't really know what is crude oil. Most of them don't even know that how we get our petrol, but they use, they know about petrol. They've heard about petrol. They know about kerosene. Yes, they've heard about kerosene, diesel, the plastics, even our petrochemicals. Most of them don't know that we can use it for cream. Most of them don't know a bit of it, how that we can get a bit of it from the medicine we take, our drugs. Most of them don't know anything about it. So these are information that tends to wow the students, and they get so excited about it. And I tell you, just with this alone, get ready to be bombarded with questions. I tell you, because if you just give it a try, you understand what I'm talking about, because I'm always bombarded with questions, and it gets me excited when they ask questions, and it's fulfilling getting to answer their questions. Okay, I'm moving to the next one, which is general industry technology. Okay, so this, as you can see, say, yeah, you can talk about projects you have worked on or currently working, and showcase new innovations. Okay, new innovations in your work. Brilliant, very brilliant. Now the next is, where am I going? In the next 5 years, you can project and tell them, this is where I'll be in the next 5 years. This is my target. This is where you understand? So it's going to, all these are words to motivate them. For example, I am looking forward to working a more regular, on a more regular schedule. Okay, so I can push youth soccer in the evening, or probably you can also tell them that in the next 5 years, I want to be highly recognized in the oil and gas industry. So many things you tell them to motivate them and build them as well. So in your slide, you might want to add beautiful pictures as well. Probably pictures of you. If you're not working in the oil and gas sector, probably in any of the organization, all you do is you can if you go for ALPs, and in every of your ALPs, what do? We take pictures. Okay, we'll take pictures of this ALP. So you can add pictures to it. Okay, you can add pictures. But if you are working in the oil and gas industry, all you do is just probably your feed work, the pictures you take. Okay, you can add it as part of the slides, so they can see you in person when you are in the feed, and they get the pictures tells more. Okay, I can tell you something now you might not want to believe, but when I show you pictures of what I told you, immediately you are scared to believe immediately. So that's just it. I move to the next, which is what's happening in the industry today. And I told you about like, okay, you know, we have three different stages. Okay, we have in the petroleum, the oil and gas sector, like, you know, we have the upstream, the downstreams, okay, and we have the midstreams as well. So most of them don't really know where exploration and production comes in. So there you talk about the like, for example, as I have here in the E&P, most of this is one thing they don't know about the E&P, exploration and production. There are several key factors that are regularly discussed, which affect the industry. So you're going to tell them about the exploration and production process in the oil and gas industry. And these are things you get to, you know, one thing, when the student asks you questions as well, sometimes you have to like go, it make you want to go prepared to answer as much questions as you can, because you would not want to screw up. Okay, so I move to the next slide. Okay, I move to the next slide, which is grand challenges facing the exploration and production industry. Now, don't forget that as the Society of Petroleum Engineers has identified specific challenges which can be resolved. Okay, it can be resolved to help support a wider industry concerns. Okay, like, for example, there are, like I said, we bring solution. We bring information about the energy industry. We let them know quite a number of things about the energy industry, and also not just letting them know the challenges as well. Like I said initially, we tell them about the solutions. Okay, that takes me to the next slide, which is why do we do it? Why do we do it? Now, the reason for the oil and gas professionals, why did we do all this is because of the benefit a strong energy industry can bring. Honestly speaking, the benefit a strong energy industry can bring. Now you can see now that here in Nigeria today, we have a number of refineries, but prior to this time, let's say more than a decade back or so, we were not having this. We rely on other countries, but right now you can see that we are making progress and we are moving forward. Okay, these are things, the engineers are the world problem solvers. Okay, which honestly, I believe you agree with me on that. Okay, and they allow for the services and products that we all benefit. We are all beneficiaries of these the work of the oil and gas, the personalities of the oil and gas sectors today. Okay, now that's move takes me to the next. Okay, we have the world energy consumption, which is we have an example here, which is from 1993 to 2018. So all you need to do is to just give them a breakdown. Okay, if it's important to you, you want to add it to your slide, you can add it to your slide as well. Okay, so now that's taking me to the next one here. We have the regional energy consumption in 2018. Now the next is, what does all this means? Okay, what does all this mean? Okay, now when I say like the all fossil fuels, the your crude oil per se, yeah, everything concerning your crude oil. Okay, how everything comes about. Okay, you tell them about quite a number of things you have to tell them. Okay, just to get them excited initially, that is just the key point. And we move to the next one, which is because of time, we move to the next one, which is our industry. Our industry is multidisciplinary. Okay, so we move in that part. You see the subsurface specialists. We have the geochemists. We have the mathematicians. So that means everyone can get into the oil and gas sector. Okay, regardless of, you just have to get your mind keyed into it, and you find yourself doing exploits. So there are a lot of opportunities in the oil and gas sector. Okay, so that is just it. So that is that for the energy industry. So briefly, I'll move to the next slide, which is the working in the industry. Okay, so working in the industry, we have different pays depending on the organization you find yourself. If you want to add it to your slides as well, remember, like I said, this is just a guideline that will help you in preparation to prepare your slides. Okay, and mind you, there are some schools that you go to, they don't have projectors. They don't have projectors. So you shouldn't be more focused. Before you go to the school, you probably might have layers with the management, getting to know if they have a projector that you can easily show this your slides and the likes. But if they don't have, you can as well bring in a topic right on the board and ensuring that they take notes and taking points of every of the discussion, and make sure your class is interactive as well. Okay, where you tend to ask them question and they give you a feedback by replying your question. That takes me to the next, which is what about you? Okay, this all about tips and summary of what your audience should do to best prepare for a career in the energy industry. Okay, so it's, you've told them about yourself already. Yes, you've told them about yourself already. Now you want to, in turn, tell them about, you ask them, what about you? What do you intend doing? You've told them already, hence they will be inspired. So there was a school I visited, and I've told them quite a number of things, quite a lot of things about me. And I asked them, what about you? In fact, all the students, their hands were up. Like I pointed, one was like, I want to be this, and this is how I want to go about it. From what you just said, sir, I think this is how we go. This is how I will do it to achieve my targets. So I tend to inspire them. Okay, with my message. Okay, so that is one major thing you tend to do in every of the ambassador impact you make in the lives of the students in every of the ambassador lecturer program you hold. Okay, so now don't forget, we have the global, okay, let me just quickly move to the next one, which is the society. Remember, like I said, there are SPE roles in the industry. SPEs in the industry. Now you can just imagine now, because of SPE, the Society of Petroleum Engineers, we have a beautiful initiative where we, the young professionals, we go to schools and to like give this energy awareness in the education sector. Okay, let them know about the energy industry, and all this wouldn't have been done if SPE do not exist. You understand? So you can see the role of SPE in the world today. Okay. Now, the Society of Petroleum Engineers is a way for engineers, is a way for the exploration and production community to come together, okay, and share their knowledge. Okay, we share our experience and skills beyond the boundaries of nationalities. Okay, regardless of where you are from, where tribe, unity in diversity. Okay, now talking about the technical discipline of the company that you are in. Okay, so that takes me to the next slide, which is our professional. Mind you, this slides, this presentation and containing these slides can be shared to you also to guide you through in preparing for your own as well. So you can also add in some things as well. So don't take this, when we send it to you, don't take it to the school. No, it's just to guide you. Okay, so that is it. Now, that takes us to the next, which is Young Members Program. Remember, I forgot to add this. Now, if a school, I told you that one of the ways that we tend to initiate ALP visits is when a school send a request to SPE to have our young professional members come visit for ambassador lecturer program. But mind you, this is done regardless of if there's an SPE chapter in that school. Okay, so it doesn't really matter. So with this, we have our young professional, our young member programs like the students chapters, our scholarship fellowships and awards, ambassador lecturer program like I'm discussing with you now on right now, Ambassador Lecturer Program. We have the SPE Connect, okay, and the student paper contest, Petrobo, e-mentoring. We have for the young professionals, we have the SPE sections, the regional communities and events by membership. We have the YP Awards and Spotlight on young professionals. And we have the Ambassador Lecturer Program, same in the same light as well. So all these are going to help you out in it. So how has SPE helped me? Honestly, SPE has helped me big time. It has helped me big time. It has built my communication skills, okay, and how I present as well, okay. It creates this boldness in me, and gets me recognized, not just within the section alone, but probably internationally, because not only am I conducting ambassador lecturer programs, but I tend to share to the professional community, okay, for example, LinkedIn, what I do, okay? And in turn, I have, okay, initially, let me tell you this now. Let me tell you this. When I conduct ambassador lecturer programs, I post every of my ambassador lecturer programs on LinkedIn, regardless of if I don't mind if I have 1 like, 2 like, it's not my concern. But my major target is to let them know more about the ambassador lecturer program and what I do for SPE. And in turn, I see a lot of persons sliding into my DM to want to associate with me and tell me, bro, well done. I love what you are doing for SPE. What is SPE? How can I be a part of SPE? What they want to know, because I'm getting them. So people tend to know me as a result of conducting ambassador programs in schools. Okay, so they tend to know me, and amazingly, I was when I started initially, I started with about 400 followers on LinkedIn, and as I speak to you right now, I have 1,063 followers on LinkedIn within the space of 2 months. Isn't that amazing? Very, very amazing. So this will tell you quite a number of things. I tend quite a number of persons as well. I've also associated with me just by participating or taking part of the ambassador lecturer program opportunity, because I see it as an opportunity. Now, being a member of SPE has helped me grow. Like I said, now we have a constant. There's a constant in my professional life when it comes to. When I mean constant development. Okay, in my professional life, because I tend to improve it enhances my professional skills. Okay, it makes me grow, and I tend to connect me to people. Yeah, it does connect me to people, and also the local and international participation. So I get to volunteer for, I get to volunteer for bigger projects that the SPE Lagos section will be conducting, and it's just like, honestly, it's a mind-blowing opportunity being part of SPE, not just being a member alone. It's one thing for you to be a member, it's another thing for you to be involved, okay, in your membership in SPE. Okay, so that is one reason why I will advise you to take ambassador lecturer program very, very serious, because it brings visibility. You become so visible. You know, there are some places I go to, or events I go to, especially SPE events I go to. First, some person will call me like, or they'll just come to me like, hey, so you are the OVA. You understand? Because people are getting to know you, okay? Networking, mentoring, diverse technical learning. You are learning quite a lot of things. Be a part of and give back to the energy industry. And also, lastly, we have the global responsibility. Yes, the global responsibility. Yeah, we talk about like it's written here. We have producing the energy that drives the world economy. Okay, one of the biggest industry you can ever you can ever find in the world today is the oil and gas industry. Honestly speaking, okay, producing the energy that drives the world economy, and this in turn boosts the economy of the country as well. So it's a very, very important part, and you should find yourself opportuned to be part of the part of the Society of Petroleum Engineers in your section. Okay, so here we have SPE support communities issues through SPE cares and our community. Our continual studies in the environment. We have sustainability and raising awareness. Okay, raising awareness, letting people know quite a lot of things or a number of things in the energy industry today. Okay, so just a brief recap on, okay, so that brings us to, now you can find more about this, the SPE industry at our website, which is www.spe.org. Okay, the websites, you can see it already, so, and also SPE Direct as well. So direct at service at spe.com. Now, don't forget, before I end this section, I said initially, for those of us just joining, I said that you can go to schools. Yes, you can go to schools. Go to school, represent your section by going to school as a young professional or probably a student member, okay? Okay, student member or young professional. You go to school, you tell them, my name is, okay, let's say, for example, my name is Onobakoya Ovie. I am a young professional member of the Society of Petroleum Engineers, and I'm here to introduce to you an ambassador lecturer program where we educate students/pupils about the energy industry. Okay, why I say pupils, because sometimes it also cuts across this primary section. So pupils, students about the energy industry, we conduct experiments, all materials. This is the striking part of it. Always say this, always say this. All materials needed for the experiment and lecture will be provided by the Society of Petroleum Engineers, Lagos section. They will jump at it immediately because they are anything free. They would want to buy into it immediately. And you see some of them, they will bypass proposals. You bring proposal and just tell you, come to so day, and you've won that score already. So thank you so much for your time. So that will launch us to the next section. Thank you.
All right. Just in case you don't know, here is one of our active volunteers, especially on ALPs and so much, probably 70 or 65%. I hope you all learned something. Please feel free to ask any questions now. Like, you can just unmute yourself and ask. Otherwise, just move on to the next section, which is about experience. And please also, regarding the ALPs, at the end of every lecture, there is this feedback form that we usually have to fill. You know, ALP is an initiative of SPE International. So once you are done with a session, there is a form to fill. And once you fill this form, it counts as a point or an ALP as conducted by the Lagos section. And then at the end of every year, an award is actually given out for the outstanding ALP section, which Lagos State won, last year, and we're hoping we can repeat the same this year. This link, of course, will be shared to everyone who attended this session, along with all the presentation guidelines and slides and the Energy4Me experiments we're about to conduct. So thanks, guys. At this point, I will hand over to our second facilitator to run us through our Energy4Me experiments. Thank you.
So good. We're still in the morning, I guess. Good morning, everyone. Please confirm you can hear me. Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes, I can hear you too.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes.
So welcome to the Okay. So good morning, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the earlier section on. Okay, please send drop a message in the chat box if you can hear me clearly. Okay, I hope you enjoyed the earlier section on the ambassador lecture program. You got the insight from OVA, who is still going to be here with me for the Energy4Me experiment. Mostly I like to say this, that Energy4Me cannot happen without an ALP, because you practically have to tell the students what the oil and gas industry is about, what the energy industry is about. So you just coming to their school telling them, I want to do practicals, I want to show you some experiments of something they know nothing about, it really does not make sense. So you have to, we already told you earlier that you would show them, you talk to them about the oil and gas industry. You can actually edit your slides and work with it the way you want. Oil formation can be what you want to talk about. Then you relate it to the experiments you want to do. So up to now, we have a YouTube session that we did, where we did 3 Energy4Me experiments. That's getting the oil out, velocity experiments, then density. So here we'll be handling 3 other experiments. That's to give you varieties. So it depends on the accessibility of materials, what you have access to. Here now we're going to be talking more about the earth crust. So we have some of these materials around us. You can see, for this I have my sandy soil. We have the clay soil. You can see the colors, they are well distinguished. We have rocks, we have plastics, and as the Energy4Me is representing the oil and gas industry using local, readily available household materials. So here now you see we are going to be working with several things. So the first experiment we're going to be doing is talking about pore spaces. In the oil and gas industry, we know there are different types of wells, different types of reservoirs. So to explain to these students, one, you need to know your audience. Are you dealing with secondary school students or primary school students? So this would actually affect your language. You talking to a primary school students and telling them reservoir is just like you speaking jargons. so let's just see. So you just tell them, okay, imagine this, I want to pick, your normal world. So just let it be imaginary. Let it be something they can relate with. So now we are going to, as I said earlier, we would work with the pore spaces. So we're going to use water as our oil, but for visibility, we would add food coloring. Add food coloring to that. So while he's doing that, these plastics here will represent my oil wells. And depending on the kind of rocks that are in there, this will determine how I would get my oil. So we have different types of rock. You can see this rock, they are quite big. We have the ones of smaller sizes and the medium size. I will not tell you why we have them in these sizes until I continue with the experiments, then you'll be able to deduce what we are working with. So I said earlier, this represents my reservoir. So this is my first. You can see I have the tiny rocks in here. The next, I'll put the middle-sized rocks and ensure they are on the same line. So I'm going to be using simple language because I don't know who is listening. Because I don't know who is listening to this. I want to believe this session will be understood by every layman. So here is my middle-sized block. For this experiment, you would be needing your pen and paper, or probably, since you'll be in a school, you can make use of your chalkboard. So, I love this Energy4Me experiment because it gives you room to actually improvise. You be sitting in school, you might ask for their measuring cylinder and all. So I decided to work with something with a calibration. So that's calibration of 30 mils, 30, 300. So we're going to fill up this plastics. I said they obtain my reservoirs with the same quantity of water till it gets to a particular point where the rocks are. So that's why I said we need our pen and paper. When we fill into wood, pour in the same quantity till it gets there. Then we get to note the quantity of water that fills each of it. So right afterwards, the answer to my unasked questions could actually be obvious. Let's do the first one, 60 mils. So while OVA is doing the experiment, I will be the strip. I will write down the points. So I have my pen and paper. To make it more interesting, for me, when I visit schools, I make sure the students are actually my volunteers. So this makes it obvious. So this is also to preach to them that SPE, that's Sector Petroleum Engineers, is all about volunteering. You get inspired to do this stuff, either being paid or not being paid. So that's imbibing the spirit of volunteerism into the students. Yes. So the water goes into my first block. That's the one with the very big rocks. I'm sure you can see the water. That's 30 mils going into my plastic with the biggest size of rock. And it goes into the next one. So I will write down A, B, C, that's representing. So this is A, this is B, and this is C. So we have 30 mils into the first one, 30 mils also into the second one. So we're getting there. So let's make it, I think we can do, so was that 60, I think? First one, you do 60. I think we can do 90. Let's do 90, but let's ensure it doesn't go past that point. So we still have lots of space to accommodate our water. So that's fine. So it has gotten there. You can see we could not put in the entire 90, additional 90 we wanted to add. So we have like 15 mils left. So that's 90 minus 15. This is you bringing out the mathematics in your students. That's we have 90 minus 15, that's 75. 75 mils into that's jar A. So let's do another 90 for jar B. So we can see for jar B, we add the entire 90 mils into it. So jar B, we have 90 mils. Then let's repeat the same for the third jar. And you need to get your students to add them up. So for jar C, we could only pour in 60 mils into it. While adding that up, jar B could accommodate 100 and jar C could accommodate 120 mils. Jar B, that's 150 mils. And for jar A, we could only have 135 mils. So this, and it's gigo, whatever goes in is what comes out. If we have oil well, where we have this quantity of oil, so I said earlier, this colored water actually represents my oil that's in the reservoir. So showing that the smaller the sizes of pore sizes, the smaller the quantity of oil in the reservoir. So that's to give you the picture of what a typical reservoir engineer goes through in his or her day. What a typical reservoir engineer goes through. So, you know, everybody's going into business. It's more about making profits. If I want to drill a well, or am I right? If I want to drill a well and it's going to give me small quantity of oil, I either go for one that will give me more. So that's the accountability in the oil and gas industry. So you can see here we've done functions of a mathematician. Finally, we have companies where they either have a software that will deduce this for us before I know what to do. So, any question, please? If there are questions, please ask so I can explain better. Please, I hope you could see this. These materials are readily available. These materials are readily available in our stores, in our houses. We make use of stones, plastics, measuring cylinder, how you want it. So that's the first experiment, and it's called pore spaces. So we're able to tell you, if you do this experiment yourself, even looking at your jars, you would see the big pore spaces where you
I can't see the video. Okay.
You can't see the video.
Yeah, it was blank it's blank now again.
Okay, it's coming up soon. Sorry about that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So but with what I did earlier, do you have any questions probably I can address before the video comes up?
No, I personally don't have.
Okay. So the petroleum engineer in us would actually make it easy. Okay, so I hope you can you see my video now?
Yes, I can.
Okay, yes, thank you. So that's experiment 1. So this is bringing live what happens in the field to the classroom. So the next experiment now is still talking about the earth crust. It's stand oil seep. So we'll be using 3 different types of soils, but unfortunately, I think getting clay soil in Lagos is not so easy. So we're able to get clay soil, but with these 2, we'll still be able to explain what it is. And there would also be another experiment alongside. So what we are going to be doing is we want to, by oil seep, we want the students to be able to imagine what happens when we say you actually went to a particular place and you see particles of oil on the surface of either water or the soil. Not talking about oil spillage actually, just the possibility of oils coming through the earth crust. Because you know, we have different types of soils, different types of rock, silts, peat, and several others like that. So it depends on the soil material where you are drilling or where you get your oil. So for this is the sandy soil. We're going to mix oil and water. So my water is going to still be a part of my, regularly we know the oil well as your oil, water, and gas. For this quantity, we're going to add oil, then bits of water. So by oil, I actually mean groundnut oil. I'm using groundnut oil. So it's something that is readily available. You can use groundnut oil, olive oil, whichever oil you know is accessible to you. So mixing this, it's a very thick slurry, like very, very thick. So this is that part of the earth crust where my oil is. That's why I mixed the oil in there. I said earlier that the name of the experiment is oil sea. So you get to understand why. And these things are actually, the students are always so interested. So I try as much as possible. Whenever I visit a school, I tell them I will be needing a minimum of 45 minutes. So I can do the ALP, then the Energy4Me experiment alongside. So I just for these experiments, most times when it's to be performed, make sure you have another experiment you are doing alongside, because you actually have to leave it for a while for you to get the results before you can move on with it. So Ovi will be assisting me with the next thing. So this is the loamy soil. We can see the color. We added water to this. So it's going to be placed directly on the sandy soil where we have oil. Yes, please. The person wants me to mix, just the layered on it. So if we add the clay soil, we would actually mold the clay soil in a circular pattern and place it right above the loamy soil. Then we leave it for a while, more like 15 minutes, to see how long it will take for that oil to move through the soil and get to the top. But if you don't get that effect within 15 minutes, you can actually use your hands to move it. Vibrations, regular vibration we have that happens on everywhere. Could either be in a place where maybe earthquake, volcano, or just regular human activities that could cause vibration. From this, I can see my oil coming to the top most layer in bits. So that's to show you that the soil is porous and this oil can actually move through. So this color actually even makes it look so beautiful, and you see that that's more, I think this is more relatable to geologists. They do the whole testing, get to see what's there and all. I wish you could see this. My oil has actually started seeping to the surface. So that's to show you that there's a tendency of oil actually coming out. But because we have that impermeable rocks at the topmost layer, it might not be so easy for it to come through. So to move on with this experiment, I will be adding, that's another experiment actually, but still has to do with this. I would add little, you can see my gravel, add it to the surface of this. And call probably 3 students. I said I always want to make it interactive. Give them a piece of straws. Tell them to stand at different points. So I and Ovi will be doing this together. And we'll dip in our straws at different points to see who gets to the bottom of the sand first. So this is to show you while drilling, there are so many obstacles you actually go through. Either there's some particular, maybe in between, you actually thought you're supposed to go through, but there's a impermeable rock in between. Then you have to either use your drill bits and all like that to go further. So this is yours and this is mine. So let's go Jojo. Okay, now so the first thing I came across was actually a rock. So I could not go further. So I'll move to another point. Yes, so I'm going down. So I just got to the bottom. That's after trying. I still find it very difficult to get to the bottom of the rock. So this is just to tell you, just to give you a perspective of what goes on in the oil and gas industry. Because most of them just believe, I get my petrol, I get my kerosene. They don't know the process. They don't know what's involved. Aside the mathematics or several, that even if you have to work in programs, that I think there are other companies that are into this that makes it easy. But behind these stuff is actually a whole lot of work that goes on. So the next experiment is the Cartesian divers. This is actually showing you, talking about gases in between in oil and oil. So at times I like to use this is I like to use this as an experiment. We all know to preserve our minerals, our soft drink, we use CO2. And the moment we open, that's the first thing we get to see. It actually leaves this effervescence. It leaves the soft drink. So I like to use this experiment. At times, if I'm in a particular environment where I can shake the bottle, I don't mind shaking. Then when I open, it gives you that imaginary view of when you drill, how the oil gushes through and goes to a reservoir where it's going to be stored and all. Then looking at, I remember growing up, there's some videos we used to see of the old ways of drilling, where people have to dig, and the next thing, oil, and you lose lots of lives and lives like that. But now things have been made quite simple. So I just like this feeling of you open and the first thing you hear is that sound. I'm sure you guys will understand what I'm trying to say. And the first thing that comes out is the gas. That pressure has been relieved. So we can use this experiment to also replicate it. This material we're trying to work with representing our gas. Talking about pressure, we need it to have that weight. Make it tight. Make it tight. Yes. So these materials are already available on the SPE Energy4Me platform. We can actually share them to you after this experiment. We'll share the last 3 we've done before and these 3. This session is actually in conjunction with the Young Shall Grow Committee of SPE Nigerian Council, where we teach students about Energy4Me and the students to YP transitioning. So please, volunteering with SPE actually has a whole lot of benefits. You get to meet people, network, So we add back to the Energy4Me experiment. These paper clips, I'm sure, I don't know if you can see this paper clip, this, how will I put it? That you hold your paper at the top. Maybe old fashioned for some people though, but it's actually very useful for this experiment. We're adding this to the straw to give it that weight that we need. So they is here now helping me with this. If I was in a school, I'll call the student, they'll be so interested, and makes it a whole lot of fun. We have schools around you, just as Ovie said earlier. Reach out to, you can send a note to spelagos@gmail.com and telling them, send the name and address of the school to go through the YP chair and student affairs chair to be submitted for approval. So we'll be using this 1 liter plastic because we need that distance. So for me, I actually like this plastic because it's soft and it's easily compressible when you are doing your experiment. So you dip in your diver into it. Yes, let's add more. If you can't get your paper clip, using the soft drink, as I said earlier, it's more like the one that is easily relatable for the students. I hope you can see this. I don't know if you can see the movements. Just confirm you can see the movements. Like when I exact pressure, you see it moves further down. Let me see if I can. So you need to apply that pressure so it goes down. So imagine you have your oil well, you know there's pressure in it. And once you drill, it goes. So the first thing that if you have probably a well where there is gas, the first thing that goes out is that gas. That one with higher pressure. So that's exactly what's happening here. So release it. When it's released, it goes up. But when you exact pressure, just do that it goes down. So I'm sure maybe if we add, let's see if we can add more pins to that, if we'll add more weights. Yes. So you can get the big pins when you want to do yours. It saves you the energy of adding so much. Yes. So you can see it's below, and once I release, it goes to the top. Pressure, and it's down, and release. So, like this is, I'm sure the students will have loads of questions to ask. How is it possible? How did you do that? So that's why it's better to get them acquainted with it. Let them be a part, let them participate. So that pressure, they should be able to imagine that I had to squeeze, I needed to exert lots of energy for it to go down. And here it is, and releasing it, it is back to the top. So we've done 4 experiments today. Thanks to OVA for doing this with me and to legal section for organizing this. Being an SPE Energy4Me ambassador is one thing I'm always happy to be a part of. We send a report to SPI also, where they post on the Energy4Me platform. OVA mentioned that you put these activities on LinkedIn, you can tag SPI, tag Energy4Me, and they repost and share your activities online. So please, any question? Okay, so for a reward, probably you are watching this session and you need to go over it again. We have it on our YouTube channel at SPE Lagos. You can have a reward and share with colleagues. So please like, subscribe, and share. Follow us on other social media, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn. Do have lots of fun. I had fun while doing this, and I'm very sure you're going to have fun too. So thank you again for doing this. Yeah, we are SP, oil and gas. So these questions. I can see this Tosin is still online. I saw Chinelo. I saw who else is online? Emeka. I see Chooks. So please ask questions, please. Like this is bringing the field into reality, bringing the field into the classroom. So let's see how we can do this together. You might have suggestions. We are open to ideas. Let's see how we can put this together and get the students interested in being a part of the oil and gas industry, because that is actually the sole aim of this event. Questions, feedback, observation, comments. Please unmute yourself and speak. It's open. The floor is open.
So I have a comment. So the video it's a bit distant, so I couldn't really see the other experiments. But the first one, I work as a reservoir engineer, so I just so this is good feedback anyway. I just found it interesting to see this, to see that experiment. I think the one that was showing
All spaces. This.
yeah the pot exactly, yeah. So I just find it interesting to see that, you know, in this form that you can easily explain to young people, especially, you know, children, like people in secondary school and stuff, like how they can actually see what we do behind computers. So I found it interesting watching it. So that's my feedback.
Thank you. Okay, I hope you'll be interested in doing ALPs and Energy4Me.
Yes.
Be that live.
Yes, of course. That's why I joined this. Yes, definitely.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. So I look out. I'm waiting for your response. I look out to you reaching out very soon. Let's fix something. So for the other experiment, okay, sorry about the distance, but it's more like just adding sands and oil together, then see how long it takes for it to seep to the surface. So for the one where we had to put in the straws, we actually have a mix of the sandy soil. Can you see this?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, a mix of sandy soil, loamy soil. So I said earlier we're meant to have the clay soil, but it's quite difficult to get in Lagos, and we could not get the replacement. So if we add the clay soil at the top, you know, clay, after molding in water, it has these very tiny pore spaces. So it's very difficult for the oil to come to the surface. So we just leave it for a while and see how long it takes for that oil to be mixed in the sandy soil below,
okay,
for it to get to the top.
Okay, interesting.
So if it doesn't get to the top in like probably 10 minutes, you shake the vessel, just that vibration, the regular occurrences that can happen in the earth crust. So after that, I did more like 2-in-1. So you can actually have another experiment where you have sand, different ones, the one with pebbles and stones. Then you use your straw. So this is going to represent your drilling, your drill bits and all. So you tell students to put it in at different points. So they meet obstructions and all. So just give them the analogy, the pictorial, the view of what happens when you are trying to drill, because you don't know what's there. There'll be so many obstructions. So me going down now, okay, you can see this now as the sandy soil at the bottom, the loamy soil at the top. So that means it has actually gotten to the bottom of the reservoir. Then for this is just showing you, this is my oil well. Then, okay, we call it the Cartesian divers, where it's more like telling you when you drill, with pressure, your fluid actually moves faster. So me exerting pressure, can you see this right now? You can see this straw I have in here is actually afloat. So when I exert pressure, it goes down. That's to show you that when it is still, without me drilling, my gas is still down there, my oil is down there. So that is where the pressure is still there. But once I release, meaning I have created that hollow space, I have drilled, it comes out. Okay. So that's to show you the possibility, then you cannot relate it to this, there are physics, pressure, force, and all those things like that. So I use this soft drink to replicate exactly the same thing. But you just have to be careful so you don't mess up your classrooms. If it's probably an open space, you can probably just shake it, then open that effervescence, that release. It's because of that CO2 that was in there. It is released because it's based on matter. Gases would move faster than the liquid and solid. So once it comes out, you let them know that that is exactly what happens when you drill. So I hope you got.
Yeah, I have now. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much, Chinego.
Thank you.
Can I get that question? Further questions, please, you can send them to our mail, spelagos@gmail.com. Reach out to us. You can drop the comments on YouTube, reach Facebook, Instagram, and all. Thank you very much. Thank you for joining this session. Thank you for, yes. Thank you for joining this session. See you later. SPE, oil and gas.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.